Welcome back to another Satisfactory video, guys. I know it's been a long time since our last video on our save, but there's a pretty good reason for that. Some of you may have seen the clips in a previous video, but we've been working on this iron factory for way too long, and it's not even done yet. But I figure I'd make a video because we have a lot of progress, but it's not quite operational. But this is not the only thing that's been slowing down progress on this save. Unfortunately, this save is also becoming a little bit more unplayable every time we play. And that's why I've redirected the vision for this save into just completing phase 4. Now this means that we're going to do a lot less projects and they're going to be a lot smaller, which is totally fine because I'd like to actually finish this save, but that is why we have some alternate saves started. If you guys haven't seen the Kylo Corp first episode, I highly recommend checking it out. It's going to be a series on the channel as we wait for 1.0, and it's a way for me to experiment with some new building styles hopefully, and make one really fun cohesive save that looks cool but maybe doesn't need as much production so it doesn't lag as much. Okay, so I just want to hop in and kind of give you guys a tour of what we started building here. So the build starts down by our material factory where we have a rail network fully hooked up now, not completely done, but it is functional, running all the way from the material factory down the east coast to this ocean area where we have located our iron factory. You guys may be surprised on what this factory is going to produce because this whole thing only makes 4,030 iron ingots per minute. And when looking at this thing, you might think it produces more, but no. So just coming off of the main highway here, we have our entrances and exit for the train that brings in iron ore right here. Now, if we go through the train station doors, you can see we have just 3 bays here, and the train station room is not really designed at all yet. Like I said, there's a lot of unfinished stuff going on this build. But as we are on the train station level, we can take a look at the logistics. And boy, is it tight in here. So to start off, we have a storage buffer on the end of the train station as per usual. And then these lines are somewhat load balanced and sent into the line of refineries in which we are pulling water from down below to make the pure iron ingot recipe. Like I said, really simple, not complex. It's one recipe just produced in a larger quantity. Okay, and then we come over to the output side where we have lots of iron ingots. Right here, we are utilizing, I believe, 4 full belts at 780 exactly, and then 2 belts that are slightly underclocked from 780. And all of these iron ingots are getting shipped across to the neighboring building that borrows angles and design elements. But before we go over there, let's actually look at the walkable areas of this factory. So we will take a look at the first floor, and it's not a very complex design. It's blueprinted down the way. So we have a line of refineries right down the middle, and then on each side we have these logistic hallways. They're open logistic type where we kind of can see off the edge a little bit into the back of our refineries. Normally I have these walled off, but I decided to leave the refineries a little bit open this time, and it's pretty much the same design all the way down. We have some lighting above us, and we got these kind of little bays for design. And like I said, this is a repeatable design all the way down, so it's going to look pretty much the same the whole way. Underneath our walkway at kind of the beginning of the build, we do have a little bit of a design with some pillars supporting the walkway and some glass kind of sectioning off the area. There are some wall-mounted lights in there as well, I think, that are not on right now as I want to relocate the power and set it up with a light control panel, all of that stuff. But the main feature of this area is the refinery walkway area where we get that really warm mood lighting that I've used in a couple different builds now for the underneath side of a refinery. Okay, and moving up to the second floor, you will have to ignore all of the storage containers as remember we're building in survival, so it's a lot of material trips back and forth. The second floor here is much cleaner in design. If we look at this kind of the back side of the refineries, we have this pillar wall with a lot of lighting, and again this is borrowing similar angles and lighting that we have around the rest of the build and just kind of throwing it on the inside here. We have the same lighting on the roof from the first floor and a very similar walkway on the entrance side. But going down the refinery side, we do have a lot of light panels in here. Now this is arguably too much. I made this blueprint a while ago, but I thought it kind of fit the theme of the almost Tron-esque build, and that is basically all of the actual factory. Because we're using so many blueprints, it really is kind of the same on all of the hallways that we have here. If we go at the doors on the side, we do have a balcony that pretty much wraps the whole way. I don't think it's connected on the back just yet, as you know, the back side is the majority of the side that's not done. But we do have exterior walking capabilities here, and you can see the transition just across the way. Now, right in between the two buildings, you'll see that there is what seems to be a road in between that is divided up a bunch of times. This is to hopefully restrict the trucks or tractors that we will use to transport materials to local factories, as we have a lot more space here, and I would like to experiment with using a lot of trucks here. We do also have a lot of train stations as a backup, but I thought I'd test the waters with the trucks. So we kind of made a little design and threw down a bunch of lanes here. But you'll see that we have, from the walkway, we can see our iron exporting out, but we also have a bunch of extra belts. Now this is going to be for a couple other things. We're going to also be importing both plastic and fuel. Now the plastic and fuel will be coming down this set of belts right here and going into the logistic hub area. They will then get transported to wherever they need to for certain factories, as the first factory we're going to make is an iron plates factory, which we're going to use an alternate that needs plastic and iron ingots, and we need fuel to use for the trucks. But to get the fuel and plastic over here, we need some more importing items, and that is where the back side of this production facility comes in with another set of train stations. And this is going to bring, again, just plastic and fuel. It might be a little overkill, but hey, it works. And the top side of this train station that we have here is kind of open plan, as there's a lot of kind of gaps and it's not fully closed off on the top. Still have to add a lot of access points throughout the area, but we'll get that eventually. Now, something I really do want to show you about the train station that, again, is not fully functional is the entrances for all the trucks. So they're going to come through their truck lane and they will hit these double doors. And this is also kind of reminiscent of the way our trains come into our production facility. And they all kind of run into their own little truck station here. You guys may or may not recognize this design, as it is very similar, if not exactly the same, besides a few sign changes, to some other ones that we've used before. And then they will eventually pop out the other end and go on an exporting journey the other way. And that is honestly about it for all of the things pertaining to this build. Obviously, we could go over some really small design detail stuff that I chose and whatnot, but there's a lot of unfinished stuff here, so it does feel a little weird trying to show all the design stuff when it's not fully done. I try to stick to stuff that it really is pretty done for the most part. Just like the inside of the train station is also completely still under construction. We kind of have the shell, and that's about it. We have a long way to go with the road infrastructure for the trucks, and the whole backside of this production building is also just open-ended and not really done. Remember, any blueprints that you see in this video or in any of the other videos on our save are available on Patreon, and then any of the blueprints that have their own video are public in the Discord. If you guys have not joined the Discord already, make sure to do so. There's also a new community highlights channel that if you have some completed builds that you want to show off, or even want to share your save file where we can possibly make some awesome showcase videos here, you are more than welcome to do so. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all of the jazz. You guys know what it is. And until next time, peace.
I'm slick with words, tongue sharp, you left in thirds. You pitching verbs, I knock it out, I'm flipping birds. While smoking herbs, I'm blocking out what often hurts. I'm moving herds, it's me, my family, money merge. We crave the day that we can finally start to splurge. Hit the stove like fuck it, leave with kicks by Verge. And celebrate cause we ain't start back in the burbs. I've been a man who takes the issue, never chirps.